Good afternoon in China and good morning in Switzerland. Welcome to join our second Art Science Dialogues webinar. My name is Sisi Sun. I'm the head of Art Science at SwissNext China. We see a lot of new names joining us today. So before we start, I'll give a brief introduction of our organization. SwissNext China is the initiative of the Swiss State Secretariat for Education, Research and Innovation. We have 5 offices around the world, 2 in the States, 1 in India, 1 in Brazil, and us in China. For the past 11 years, we have been actively connecting the dots between China and Switzerland in science, higher education, and innovation. The Art Science Dialogue is a brand new webinar series which we started in May, and it will take place once a month till August via Zoom. Through this series, we'll try to present artistic projects with strong scientific and research background, and also introduce new initiatives from Switzerland. So we had covered the topic of design and material science in our first dialogue last month, and today we will take a look at sonic arts and neuroscience. And we've invited Dr. Luca Forcucci, an independent composer, artist, scholar, and also the chair of Listen Nomad. He will guide us through the projects and researches to explain the mechanism of listening and also to define collaborative strategies in such contexts. As a second speaker, we've also invited Ms. Jo Wei, the founder of Pen Bio Art Studio and also a curator and researcher at the Central Academy of Fine Arts. So she will introduce the practice of neuroscience and art in China and beyond. After these 2 presentations, we will have a discussion and Q&A session. For our audience, you may use the Q&A tab on the bottom to type in the questions. So we will answer the questions later. And if you have any comments, please feel free to leave your comments in the chat box. Okay, let's welcome Luca for the first presentation.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm very glad to be here today. I will start this project, which is 12 years of research. So I will try to be concise and develop those ideas. Thank you very much to SwissNext and Sisi to welcome me again in China. And so I will start this. So here are a bunch of papers, research that I did the last years. And it goes through different ideas of listening. And perception mostly. So I'll start with a comparison between neuroscience and space exploration, since these 2 territories are somehow at the limit of our reach. And indeed, one of the last important space discovery was the first direct observation of gravitational wave through sound. So the question is, will the next major neuroscientific discovery be heard? So the one research here, before speaking of data, physiological data and so on that we find in neuroscience, the idea will be to explore mostly what is a visual mental imagery and sonic imagination. So how those are created through sound perception. So one of the first reference here is Pauline Oliveros, a very important composer, which came up with deep listening, which is well known in the sonic arts and sonic field. It's really the idea of perception of sound, but also when we say sonic imagination, imagination is for the visual domain. So she came with the idea of oralization. So the vocabulary that is important in the context of sonic perception. Also, in terms of philosophy, there are two people I would like to bring forward. First, Roland Barthes, because he makes this distinction between hearing and listening, which is very important in this domain of research. And also Félix Guattari, because he makes this triangulation between the ecological registers, the environment, and social relation, and human subjectivity. So the whole idea here in neuroscience, I would say also cognitive science, in this domain, in the domain of sonic arts, is based on listening strategies. Deep listening, as I said, with Pauline Oliveros, but also, as you can see in this image, maybe just focus just on sound by deliberately remove the visual perception, for example. So the point in the first part of my research started in the Amazon rainforest. I was invited to spend 2 weeks there. That was a Swiss Federal Prize. It was Swiss Digital Art Award back then. And then that allowed me to go 2 weeks there. So we explored night and day, very intensively, the sound of the forest, which somehow bring also further those ideas of deep listening. Also because you have to pay attention in such an environment, which can be hazardous. And then also there is all a strategy, how you transmit this experience to an audience, which is also one of the main tasks when you make research between art and science. From my point of view, is good. Indeed, you have to write papers and so on, but also how you transmit the experience. So after that, I was invited at the Bremand Institute in Switzerland at EPFL in Lausanne to spend 9 months in the context of the program Swiss Artisan Lab. And I was the first artist there. So it was also to learn a vocabulary, to create a context where we can work together. So we work on out-of-body experience through sound, because most of the research is done through the visual domain. And the idea was to explore also how sound can be a part of it, since the cognitive neuroscience is multimodal. So I jumped into 2012 when I was in Shanghai. From 2011 to 2013, I spent 1 year in many periods. And with artists from Shanghai, we made, for what they told me, one of the first sonic art exhibition in Shanghai. And the idea was to discuss form of listenings, meaning does the language influence the way we listen to it? In 2015, I went to the Jurassic Foundation, which was a residency for artists and scientists during 1 month, and discuss topics, just be together and see what kind of ideas could emanate from such experience and residency. So that was one of the first work. It was based on an isolation tank. I started from a joke about Michael Jackson having one of those. And so we decided to make as well one with 2 redwood that we find in the forest. After that, I also worked with 2 artists, Cherry Leonard and Cristal Sepulveda. And the idea was to take the body as the source for this composition, meaning taking the physiological data, in this case, EMG, and then make a piece with this, and also the sound of the body itself. Further, that year I went to in South Africa, again for one of those immersive experience on listening with a biologist, the same biologist I went to the Amazon forest, Francisco Lopez, who is also a composer. And so we spent 2 weeks again there to listen at the border of Botswana. And it's good to have also a biologist, because we can know which kind of species and what time they appear, and also because he's a composer of also define strategies of listening. And this led to a combination of the piece Bodyscape and the sound taken from South Africa that was presented here at Sandurenmat in Neuchâtel, Switzerland. And then we continued this idea with the EMG sensors. And also this time we decided with the cellist to play the body of the dancer. Then this is another project I did in Brazil. I've been there since 2008. And then I learned that he went to Brazil as well, Blaise Sandra, and he's from the same city, La Chaux-de-Fonds, as me. And so I decided through his writing to explore the idea of embodiment. So he made a travel in the 20s with the modernists, and I decided to remake that travel and record sound and picture and recombine all this for a performance that was presented first in Centro Municipal Hélio Sico in Rio de Janeiro, and then a Red Bull residency in Sao Paulo, where I tried to use text as a form of way to embody the experience. This piece is a tank of water that is being placed inside Red Bull station, and where there is a lot of traffic in Sao Paulo. So here, if you concentrate on the water, you start to see the vibration of the water, which is a translation of sound into that water. And this, I decided to amplify the soundscape of Sao Paulo. Then I went back to South Africa because I was interested to explore what I call the ancestral technology of instruments and blend it with electroacoustic music or aesthetics. So I researched during 2 years in Mozambique, Eswatini, and South Africa. And so we developed several strategies of collaboration. It's really a dialogue and system that between the musician and it's really important that it stay on this idea of dialogue. And so we mixed several things together, and that was presented in various contexts in South Africa until it was presented 2018 at ISEA, the International Symposium of Electronic Arts in Durban. And also I met various musicians that were working with, for example, here, Smiles Makama, that he has his own instrument, which is not hacking, but he was speaking about augmenting the instrument. And that was totally the idea, by putting together electroacoustic ideas with both instrument and to augment this. Then the last work I did was Alerta, and it was presented, it should have been presented this year at the Electroacoustic New York City Electroacoustic Music Festival. But because of coronavirus, everything has been canceled, so it's 1 year of work lost here, but show you anyway a bit. So that's a snippet. I hope we'll be able to present it at some point to you. I would like to also present this project that I did while I was in San Francisco at the Jersey Foundation. It's LASER. It's International Art and Science Talk that happened around the world. And I decided to make one called Laser Nomad, meaning that I go to several countries where I do my work usually, but also organize this talk as a networking tool, but also as a way to explore ideas again through dialogues. The organization is ubiquitylab.org and is based in Berlin. And so this Laser Nomad includes also podcasts where I interview people, important people having working with art, science, and technology. So I just finished 10 podcast series, and it was presented at the biggest digital online biennale called The Wrong, from November 2009 to March 2020. So in 2008, it has been presented in South Africa, in Brazil. 2019, we went to Portugal, Italy, and Germany. And this year, because of the virus, we don't know yet, but the first date in La Chaux-de-Fonds at Club 44 is I hope confirmed, and then the two other hopefully will happen as well if of course we will take all the the measure we have to take to be safe, and hopefully it will continue, and that's it.
Okay, thank you, Luca, for your great presentation. I think all of our audience have a new understanding of listening. So now let's welcome our second speaker, Ms. Jo Wei. from the Central Academy of Fine Arts. Jo, please.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, thanks for Swiss Next and Cici for inviting me for this fantastic opportunity, and also I can have such an nice opportunity to communicate with Luca, and I so many familiar friends in the list. So this talk will last for 15 to 20 minutes. So but luckily we will have a Q&A session, and I hope yeah, people interested in this topic, we can talk in the maybe real world or physical world in the future. So yeah, first let me introduce myself. My name is Jo Wei. I'm a curator and also a researcher in the Central Academy of Fine Arts. So this topic will be related to the practice of neuroscience and art in China and beyond. So it will include two parts. First, I will introduce neuroscience and art in China, and then give a very brief introduction of the current situation of art, science, and technology in China. We call, in Chinese, called 科技艺术. So yeah, I will start with first with one of my course in CAFA. So you can see this is called Art and Neuroscience, and it's a course both for undergraduate and graduate student in CAFA. So we have 4 parts. First, we cooperate with fantastic partners, Tsinghua University, the medical school, and also brain intelligence lab. And also we have technical support from EEG company called Neuroscience. So this course have 4 parts. First is about the basic knowledge of brain science. Like any artist or creator want to make some pieces on neuroscience, I think the knowledge of brain science is a basic one. So first I have one professor from Tsinghua to introduce what is brain to students. And then the second session, we have engineer, neuroscience engineer, also from Tsinghua, to give a introduction of archaeology of brain machine, and also the technical base of EEG, how to use EEG. And then the third part, we have the more philosophical perspective, and also cognitive science to talk about what is brain and what is yeah, many interesting topics. And then we have the course exhibition. So I can show you something. Like I think most of the audience may not familiar with neuroscience. So this is a machine we use in the course. You can see EEG, and it is a brain human how to say, a brain computer interface. So you can see the from the left one is more complex one. So it's like an electronic cap. So you wear it, and this machine can detect your brain wave. And the right one is a simple one. It only have two spots to detect the brain wave. And also you can see the diagram in the left, in the right. Different brain wave shows different condition. Like if you are in zeta, this frequency, I know that you're tired. And if you're in delta, then I know you're almost fall to sleep. But if you're in alpha, so when this wave appears, then I know you are relaxing. Of course, brain is not as simple as this diagram. Like you can see, this is more complex. But anyway, you can. It's possible to read your mind. It's not a mysterious thing. It's a real thing. It's a real scientific thing. And you can see the left picture is when students try this EEG machine, and then the right one is the interface. Of course, the real how to say, the real brain wave is much more complex than the diagram I showed previously. So you need to extract the data you want. Like it has many curves. If you want to read if someone is focusing or he's anxious, or this kind of data we can extract from this machine. So of course, beyond technical level, we also have more interesting topic. This is a list in Chinese I collect from the students, what topics they're interested. Like some students are interested in the psychology and brain science. Someone are interested in the subconsciousness, and someone is interested in the mediation and yoga and also brain. Or one student raised the question, what is the speciality of the human brain? So these are all very interesting questions we can explore in our art creations. And of course, I want to show you some artworks. This is the scene of one of my previous exhibition called Quasi-Nature last year in 798 Art District. And this work is called Racing Swords. So the artist is Liu Wa. She also, we co-teach this course. So she's an artist, and from this work, you can see the left side is a screen that reflect what is in her mind. And she used animation to reflect what she's thinking. So this screen is more subjective, and the left screen is how machine reads her mind. Like it's very a lot of curves, and also machine can tell if she is very sad or very happy. This is EG can tell. So you can see the two screens coexist. The right one is more object one, and the left one is more subject one. And this shows how the human mind is working. And then another piece, it's more interactive. This is a work called Glimpse, a passing log. So you can see from this exhibition space, the visitors can wear EEG, and then when she or he looks at the painting, then his mind or her mind will control the light, and depends on the different lights, then the audience will see different artworks. So like this. So when you are like relaxing, then you will see this this painting. Then if you are like more distracted, then you will see this. Actually, this is the same painting, but if you are in different mood, we will see different ones. So usually people say, what you think, what do you see, decide what do you think. But actually this is what do you think will decide what do you see. So it's very interesting mixture. And this is called, in Chinese, it's called 浮光掠影, and it's a real interactive artwork. And then another case is an exhibition called the Chanji Zen Machine, and it's a Ars Electronica and CAFA campus exhibition last year. So we bring several pieces from CAFA teachers and CAFA students. You can see this is a piece by Chen Qi. This is called Brainwave Project to help patients with disorders of consciousness. It's in Chinese, it's called 植物人. So and people usually think that patients with disorder of consciousness is like has no consciousness, just sleep. Actually, their brain also work. So the artist put an EEG on patient's mind, and even very small like running of his or her mind will be reflected in this interactive piece. So actually, it's a kind of a social care artwork. So to help people like the family with such kind of patients will pay more attention to them and know their lover, the patients are still alive and is still thinking and still working. And another piece is called Time. This is more abstract and more philosophical, because when you're like focusing, you feel time just flies quickly, and if you feel distracted, then you will feel time is more goes very slow. So the artist use EEG to control a clock. So when you feel like not focused, this clock will move very, very slowly. And then if you feel focused, then there will be a very fast moving of the clock. So it's a very easy piece because it's a campus show. So it's I think it's very small and interesting piece. And another is like a mediation, how to say, mind particles. So when you're focused, then the small balls within this machine will like be still. And if you are like distracted, then the ball will run with disorder. So it's also another kind of small games to flag people's mind. And this is a catalog of that machine. There are several pieces of brain and computer interactive artworks. So yeah, this is what I want to say here is human knowledge is one part, and brain science is another part. The crossover of this is what we can know from the science that what is brain. But actually there are many interest topics that artists can explore, like consciousness, like psychology, like what is dream and how is our sensation. Also more philosophical, like body and mind problem, and maybe also religion's feeling. And this all kind of interesting topics can be realized in the form of like sound art, performance, generative art, or interactive installation. There are many forms we can use to create like a neuroscience and art works. So this is a very brief introduction of the practice of art and neuroscience here in China. And then I will give also a very brief introduction of like art, science, and technology in CAFA. So we all know CAFA, and there's some workshops of on bioart in CAFA, like transgenic art, microbial art, and also last year a gene editing workshop. So this is a poster of transgenic art and some images. And okay. Oh, little stuck. Yeah, and then this is some artworks, and this is a microbial arts workshop, and some art courses on art and biology in CAFA. One is the neuroscience, and also ecology, and also like history of art, science, and technology. And maybe in the future there will be a gene and art. And another interesting activity is EAST. It's a conference called Education, Art, and Science and Technology. So every year we invite people from different art schools and institutes to CAFA, like RCA, ZCAM, Goldsmiths, YCOM, MIT. So, and also like historical people like Roy Ascott, Jeffrey Shaw, and yeah, we discuss about the education of art, science, and technology in CAFA. And also last year we had a very interesting artwork on gene editing. It's called Edible Future. So we talk about the ethics and also yeah, different perspectives on this issue. So I think this is also can be realized in the neuroscience and art area, because ethics is always important in bioart. And there will be a book be published by Peking University Press. Yeah, I think in this year or next year. Also, this is something about the workshop. And also this is a history of art, science, and technology. So if we want to explore one area, the history of this area is always very important. So you can see Edward Katz give very nice talk on this the history narrative. Yeah, this is some explanation, and this is his lecture in CAFA. So, and some curating. This is one of my exhibition called Crossing Nature, and it's might be the first systematically might be the first exhibition systematically introduce what is bioart in China. And you can see Liu Wei is the sixth in the list, and she's also one of the artists in this show. And this is the outline of the exhibition. And then also last year we had this Ars Electronica in Shenzhen. So we had we helped them to bring their archives, the 40-year history of art, science, technology to China, and translate them into Chinese. So it's also very big work, big job to I think Chinese art scene to know this festival. And we have their 40-year catalogs in the exhibition. So anyway, I will conclude this talk. So yeah, about art, science, and technology, we used to maybe call it like media art. And it's more like time-based art. It has different categories like video art, digital art, interactive art, or computer art, we may say. But now it's a new, how to say, era. So we may expand this term into art, science, and technology, because there are many things we cannot include it in the media art. So now we have biomedia or bio arts, we have ecological art, we have AI art, and also now since I think yesterday or the days, a couple of days ago, we have like a commercial space, this shuttle. So maybe in the future there will be artists in the space, so we can do space art and also new material. So yeah, I think art and science technology will have a new development within this 10 years, and we expect there will be more creation, of course, in bio art or neuroscience and art, and more young artists can come into this area to have more cooperations. So and this is yeah, my mail and also WeChat. If as I said, this is very short presentation, 15 minutes. I hope I control the time, and of course I would happy to talk with you in the real world if you have more questions, or we can have a Q&A session to discuss more. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Jo, for your presentation. I think it's really impressive to see how neuroscience could be integrated to artworks, and also to see there are already a lot of things going on at CAFA and in China. So now we will going to have this discussion session. So for our audience, if you have any questions, you can just type in the Q&A button. So just an easy question to start maybe. This is from my side, as I'm very interested in everything, how it's started. So what prompted you to pursue the intersection of sonic arts, and for Jo is more bio art and neuroscience? As for Luca, I know your background was more architect before, and for Jo, you were actually trained as a biologist, or so how does it start?
Okay, lady first, or I start? Okay.
Sure, I think I can answer very briefly. Yeah, as Cici mentioned, my background, I was trained both as a curator and also scientist. So that's why I can handle this area. So if I, yeah, why I'm interested in bioart, because when I think part because of my background, I was trained in both areas. But also I think it's about opportunity, because I think China is in a like developing stage to realize importance of art science technology. That's why we have so many conferences, courses, and also exhibitions in China. And I'm very lucky to be involved. And also, I think the scientific institutes in China are more and more interested in this. That's why we can also have cooperations, such as I have chance to cooperate with Tsinghua University, the Brain and Intelligence Lab, and also CAS, as I showed in the presentation, Chinese Academy of Sciences, 中科院. So when I approach these scientists, I feel they are very passionate on this cooperation. That's why I can move on. So I think this is one is the personal issue, because my background. Another is a social issue, because I think the society of China is willing to accept this new area, art, science, and technology, and also as I may say, bioarts. Yeah.
Yeah, on my hand is a series of accidents, actually. Yeah, I have background on architecture, indeed. I'm born in the city of Le Corbusier. So since I'm a kid, I've been confronted to those buildings. But also, I've always been involved in music. I studied also at the conservatory in Geneva in electroacoustic composition with Rainer Bosch. And at some point, I ended up in Belfast, where I studied at SARC, with, in particular, with Sheila Modrine, who is a scientist, and she was a producer for the BBC. She's blind, and she was teaching to me the light in the cathedral in Florence, and she's a blind person. And so she was working a lot also with optics. And so we started to discuss a lot. And I took care also of a person that had ALS, which is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. So all these things start to combine at some point. I'm saying accident because it's life, but then at some point things start to be together. And I was awarded a grant by the Swiss federal government with the art school University of Zurich to spend 1 year with in a cognitive neuroscience department. And the thing is, a lot of the research is conducted through virtual reality and so on, but not so much is known about sound perception. I mean, we know all the mechanisms that enter the brain and how we perceive the space because of the difference between the 2 ears and so on and so forth. But the imaginary, really the subjective experience of listening, like if now I tell you the sound of foghorns, I mean, I'm sure that there is as many answers as there is participants today. And so it's this subjectivity that interests me. So it's a combination of all this. This is how I reach, this neuroscience. I mean, cognitive science for me is where what interests me really. So yeah, more or less. Hello? Am I on here?
Hello. Yeah. So, Cici,
Yes.
shall we start to answer question, or we? I saw many questions coming.
Yes, we see a lot of questions coming in, so we can just pick the questions from the Q&A box. So I think there is one for Luca. So do you think, or maybe you can both you can answer. Do you think visual art can be listened, such as paintings, architecture, and in what way?
If I may, I think potentially yes, in the sense that it's all about waves, isn't it? I mean, sound waves, or for the visual, it's waves that we perceive, the light, etc., etc. So potentially, yes. And also, there's a spectrogram, for example, is a representation of sound. So yes, it's possible. But it's really, it's an abstraction, I would say, at the moment. I mean, at the moment, it has to be taken like this.
Yes, Jo, do you have any comments on this?
I agree with Luca that there might be a lot of possibilities. It's just a start, I think, with the technology and imagination. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, so we also have some questions from the audience to Jo. Could you please talk more about the Gene Art Workshop in China?
I think I can talk with the audience maybe privately, because today is about neuroscience and art. But I'm happy that you're interested in this gene art. Yeah, I think we can, because it's a long story, so we can talk maybe in private. And Zhao Xian. So but another audience, Song Pei, has a question on details on about your research based on EEG, such what kind of people did you do research with, artists or people without? I think yeah, depends, because I introduced the course in CAFA, so actually people involved there are artists or young artists, but actually, as you see, more people can be involved, like Chen Qi is a young teacher in CAFA, and she cooperates with hospitals in Beijing and cooperate with doctors. So she has more experience on this, I think, art therapy or social care, this oriented courses. So actually, neuroscience and art is a big area. So there are a lot of possibilities.
Okay, I think there is something related to art therapy. It's from Xu Juanfen. Is there anything about bio-art practice or progress in art therapy?
Yeah, this is just, as I mentioned, it's because I mentioned one art piece of Chen Qi in the keynote. So I consider this is very important direction of bio art practice to do the social intervention to make this how to say art practice in the real world, not only in art world. I think this is also very important. Yeah. How do you think, Luca? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's two separate things. I'm interested by potentially as an artist. I'm interested to explore. I would say collaboration and ask new questions with science. First of all, that's really my interest. Where how we can go further and explore the convergence and so on. I would say art therapy, it's another discipline for me, at least. I mean, I'm not saying that one excludes the other, whatever. But what I would like to say is that ultimately, beyond the ego of the artist, what would be interesting is that the research we are conducting with neuroscientists, as artists, and so on and so forth, if ultimately it can benefit to the well-being of people, I mean, whatever, removing pain with sound, but that already exists, this kind of ideas. Yeah, I mean, that would make me very happy. but I think it's separate. It's another thing. Art therapy is really specific, and one needs to have training in this field. You know, it's not esoteric. It's not because you see blue, you will have a certain perception of things. You have to control those things when it is applied to people. But that's my view.
So I just replied a question from for anonymous audience. Who are you? Because he or she asked if there are any technological support for independent artists to develop the creation of this kind of art. So my answer is, of course, Luca has a lot to share. My question is, yeah, I think my team, my small team are trying to develop equipment for scientists, because we find this EEG machine mostly there for medical usage, but I wish to make more usage for artists. So this is what we're doing to make more how to say I think in the future there might be how to say good like EEG tools for artists. And of course Luca has so many experience to share how you cooperate with scientists and independent artists, or
no, it's very
I think it's very important.
It's very difficult actually, because it's to enter such a structure. I mean, like at the Brain Mind Institute in Switzerland and other I collaborate with. It's a lot of networking. It's a lot of convincing. It's a lot of then you have to have sympathy with the people you work with. So I mean, that we accept that art and science can collaborate. It's lots of production. And everything is very fragile. Meaning, if you have a lab like the MIT or Taiwan or whatever university on earth, things are easier. On the other hand, you have more freedom when you are independent. So it's a question of balance, you know. In which waters you want to navigate, you know. If you have to have freedom of, about your project, or if you need the infrastructure behind, but one doesn't exclude the other. It's all, but the main thing, it's a lot of work and obsession, obviously, and convincing as well, that what you're doing is helpful. Then of course, in terms of sensor, there is. You said that you use medical equipment, and those are very expensive. So in that case, if you want to use that as an independent, you have to work with a company that will support you, as endorse you, because at the end of the day, all these brainwave machines that are available, that I use as well. I have one here, I have one here, one of the first model. But the thing is like if you take a picture with a phone from 1992, you know, the pixelization of the picture will be terrible. Whereas if you have medical equipment, you will have a beautiful image. And it depends on what you want to do, you know, really. But that said, I don't believe that because you have very good technology, you will do very good art. First of all, it's ideas and collaboration and dialogue. That's my view.
Yeah, I think there are some comments also from my side. So for Luca's experience, we can see a lot of projects are done through many artists in residency programs. And for example, the first one is the Artists in Lab project, which actually connected the artists to the scientists or the science lab. So I'm wondering if there are any similar projects here in China that could bridge these two different communities, which could also help the artists to get more knowledge on the certain scientific topic. This might be a question for Jo.
Can you make it in short, just like the cooperation between art and science in China, if I can briefly?
It's more like the, are there any residency programs that could bridge the artists to the scientists? Because in Switzerland, we have like artists in lab projects, which we put the artists in the science labs. So the communication was there and also the collaboration happens there. So how was the situation in China?
I think it will
knowledge on that.
I think it will booming soon because so far we're in the experimental stage. Like we're bringing students or several artists to the lab. But later, as we try to discuss with the lab, we might have a residency in the future very soon. Yeah, maybe brain lab first. Yeah, because I think scientists they are very interested and they are willing to be open-minded to cooperate with people outside scientific world. Yeah.
Cool. We are looking forward to that.
Yeah. I will update. Maybe who. Yeah, in the future.
Okay. So we still have quite many questions here. Maybe we take one more, or would you like to take one more from your side?
Maybe Luca can.
It's all about you. I know. It is one for me. No, it's a comments.
Just leave my email in case someone.
I have a question. I would like to ask Luca, could you please tell me more about laser? Are there any opportunity for Chinese artists to participate in laser? So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, this lab is a nomad lab. So it means that I travel when I'm invited actually to go somewhere. So yes, if Tsinghua invite me, I will gladly organize a laser and invite Chinese artists, obviously. But yeah, this is totally open. It's, I say that because it's a dialogue tool that I want to use to develop new question. And in the fact that it is nomad, it means also that I try to decentralize Western knowledge. And this is a big research I've been conducting the last 20 years. And it goes also, as I shown in my presentation, I worked in Brazil and in South Africa because there is knowledge there that are very important that somehow have been lost because many reasons. So this tool, it's also a tool to engage dialogue and create a cosmology of knowledge, which is from different view. And yeah, I mean, yes, it's possible.
Okay, I think we are approaching our time. But we still have many questions left. So for the audience who want to further communicate with us or with our speakers, you can write to us. So we can show the slides. And also we have we see that there are questions coming in to ask about the recording and also the websites of the speakers. So all of this information we will share with our audience tomorrow. So you will be receiving an email with our link of this video recording and also the slides from the speakers. And if you, as mentioned, if you have any questions, you can just write to us at artscience@swissnextchina.org. So for our next webinar, the Art Science webinar will be happening on the 16th of July, which will be on photography and environmental ecology. So we are looking forward to see you again. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Cici, very much for the invitation. Thank you, Jo, for the dialogue and to meet you. It was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.